Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw, editorial director at TigerFitness.com and Muscle and Brawn Nutrition CEO. Quite possibly the sexiest man on YouTube. Guys, I want to talk about the focus on optimization, specifically regarding muscle protein synthesis and full body workouts. There has been so much talk over the last years, several years, about how full body or frequency training is more optimal than the bro split. And while on paper that is true, and I'm a big advocate for frequency training, I want you guys to understand something. I want to put this into perspective. Natural lifters don't get that fucking big, okay? That's what needs to be understood. Natural lifters don't get that fucking big. So when you start to talk about optimization between frequency training and bro splits, you're not talking about 3, 4, 5 pounds of muscle difference, 3, 4, 5 more pounds of muscle as a difference when you're working frequency training compared to body or bro splits or body part splits. So what I mean is the average beginner can gain anywhere from about 12 to 16 pounds of muscle mass their first year. If you're on a frequency program or if you're on a bro split, you're not looking at 16 versus 10 or 8 versus 13. For most people, the gap isn't going to be that different. So if you're talking optimization, the difference might be 6 ounces, might be 8 ounces, might be a fucking pound of muscle that first year. Might be. That's theoretical. None of us know for sure. But I can tell you from my experience in this industry that optimization isn't that great of a gulf. It's not a couple of pounds. And the thing is, each year after the first year of training, your gains are cut in half. So where the first year lifter might have 16 pounds of muscle gains, the second year it's about 8, third year it's about 4, etc. So when you're talking frequency and optimization, each year after the first year, that gap between the frequency training and the bro split, this protein synthesis, muscle protein synthesis optimization shrinks even more. So if you're working hard, the key to remember here is that no matter what type of program you're using, muscle protein synthesis or frequency training isn't the only variable. The biggest variable is your head and your heart. As a natural lifter, you're not going to get that fucking big. So if you go in the gym and go balls out and listen to your body when you're doing bro splits, you're going to gain muscle just about as fast as a frequency trainer. Maybe you're a pound or two short, or an ounce or two short, maybe 4 ounces, maybe 6 ounces. But because of the diminishing rate of muscle gains, each year that gap is going to shrink. And after 4 to 5 years, it isn't going to fucking matter if you use frequency training or body part training. It's all going to be about the same in the end. So the point in making this video is to state that this focus, this emphasis, which I talk about, and I advocate frequency training for beginners, but this focus, this obsession with frequency training as some kind of fucking holy grail for natural lifters is overstated. It's overstated. The gap, the gulf, the bridge, the distance between frequency training and bro split training isn't that great, and I don't care what anybody tells you. And how do I know? Am I just pulling this stuff out of my ass? Well, I can tell you. I've been in this industry for 30 years, and I've interviewed hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of natural bodybuilders, natural figure competitors, legit naturals. For the most part, until the last couple of years, 99.9% of these lifters used body part splits. They still, because they were training 3, 4, 5 years, they still had a decent amount of muscle. So there are many, many, many successful people on body part splits, many more in the last 20 years than on frequency training. I'm just saying that's the reality. Love it or hate it. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying that's the reality. So when I tell you can be successful using bro splits, that is my basis. And again, I want to state that if you stick with it 3, 4, 5 years, this difference in optimization between a frequency program and a bro split shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and becomes pretty much minimal or trivial after 3, 4, 5 years. So the perspective, the idea that's getting tossed out here by these guys that are like super bandwagon drivers, super focused, super obsessed with frequency training, is that they don't really tell you that A, naturals can't get that fucking big to begin with, and B, the gap between the two isn't that big. It's not like you're going to jump on a frequency program and gain 5 or 6 more pounds of muscle. Maybe you'll gain 3, 4, 5 more ounces of muscle. Maybe. But in my opinion, if you're training hard, you're training smart, you're listening to your body, you're not overkilling the volume, you're using progression, a good exercise selection, there's so many other variables that the difference is going to be trivial. In my opinion, it might be a few ounces of muscle maximum. And again, after 3, 4, 5 years, that difference shrinks and it's pretty much even. It's trivial. And if you're going to lift for a long period of time, like 4, 5, 6, 7 years, there's really no difference in my opinion. In fact, after several years, it becomes easier for me to train using a body part split simply because full body workouts take forever. And I actually like working a muscle group with more than one exercise. I like that way of training. And if you like a certain way of training, you're much more likely to be successful with it. So just some food for thought. Again, I was one of the original guys on the net who was proclaiming the advantage of muscle protein synthesis and frequency training 6, 7, 8 years ago before all these other guys were doing it. But as a veteran, I want to tell you the difference, the emphasis on it is so fucking overstated and overblown that it's becoming cartoonish. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. If you've made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.